let's start out with I feel like this week, what are we? The week of March. Well, we'd be closer to summer. The February 23rd. I feel like this has been an agent locator full week already, and it's only Tuesday for me. I am getting calls all across the map from people. Can you help me? Can you help me? I've done lots of one-on-one sessions with people as well as this morning with our brokerage here. So what I really wanted to talk about for this session, if y'all are okay with it, is how is your mindset when the leads are coming in? When your phone goes off, what is the first thing that you think of? Because I'll tell you what I'm really consistently seeing when it comes to conversion and leads is the people that are not converting as much as others are the ones that always have an excuse as to why the leads are no good. And I'm gonna have you all take a step into my head, which is, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a scary place to be. But first and foremost, when a lead comes in, and I learned this from the get-go, from the very beginning, my friends, of me investing into Google Leads, I knew right away that I had to view these leads in a certain way in order for me to be able to convert. And this is how I view them. When a lead comes into my phone, I view that as somebody making a phone call to me and saying to me, "Hey, Tara, could you please send me listings in, let's just say Mississauga up to 650,000, please." That is exactly the mindset that I have every time a new lead hits my phone, is that it's somebody asking me to send them listings. Okay, so when a lead hits my phone, which is the SMS notification, right away I'm like, oh, right? A chance for business. I've got this. And that is the beginning of the mindset in regards to my conversion. Now, I'm going to take a step back because we've talked about this a lot about how I convert, why I convert. Some people say, I want to be just like you. I could never be just like you. It starts here, and it starts with understanding that all these leads want from us is to get listings, right? It starts from us absolutely looking at these leads right from the get-go as being so warm that it's like somebody knocking on your front door, just simply saying, "Can you send me some houses?" Right? So if you start to view the leads coming in just in that particular mindset, everything else you do on Agent Locator is all going to fall into place. So overall, when I started buying leads, and I know many of you, and welcome, John, you're back. Thank you. Many of you have been part of our webinars for such a long time, and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. And you've heard all of my internal stories and my success stories through Agent Locator. But I learned very quickly that this is costing me money, so I better figure out what my return on my investment was going to look like. Now, that being said, I also knew that if I view these leads as no good, or if I prejudge these leads way too quickly, I wasn't converting anything. So my stats have always been, and I'm going to tell you this from the bottom of my heart, is because I view every single lead like they're my client already. Whether or not they say they're just curious, whether or not they're just looking, I see you, John, it doesn't matter to me. Because remember, this isn't our show, this is their show, right? But when you are ready, I sure as heck am going to be one of the people that you're going to think of when you're ready to buy or sell your house, right? Because of my approach. So, from the get-go, and I'm going to give you just the last 12 years. My stats have always been from 70% to 75% of my business that year has come from Agent Locator. So 2025 was not a great year for a lot of us. My numbers were lower, just like probably yours were. There's no remedy for buyers who decide to stop looking. Let's be honest, right? I can't fix the market, but I calculated yesterday my numbers, and this is how I base them. Not only on deals, right? Because like Paul was saying earlier before we started our chat, he had some listings that didn't sell last year that he's put on the market first thing this year, and boom, they're gone, right? So I counted those as well, right? Because I did have one, two, three listings that we took off the market to wait and see what 2025 was like. Those three listings, two of those listings also did offers on other homes conditional on their house. Okay, selling. So I took into account my numbers in regards to those particular transactions, even though they didn't come to fruition. They were still people that I had under contract, right? That actually did work with me, but we got bumped, right? And they're still relisting their house with me. So when you do your numbers, kind of go a little bit beyond just deals and closed deals, right? So 69% of my business from 2025 to what I've done to date in 2026 has stemmed from Agent Locator Google leads. Now I'm going to let you think about that. My average is usually 70 to 75. I'm only in March. And I'm going to tell you something. I have a feeling by the end of the year, this is going to be the first time I'm pushing 80+%. So let's take a moment. Let's take a moment. All you need is the right mindset. I'm not a magician. I wish I was, but I'm not a magician, right? But I enter this with full time blocking. I enter this with my full working of the pillar, and I have a system in place, right? We all know that. And remember, when the leads come in, my friends, it's not just about them. It's about who they know. So here's what I've been doing right now when my one-on-one mentorship and my one-on-one coaching with people. I want everybody to look at their dashboard, whether you can do it now or whether you do it when you get home. And I want you to look at the number of leads that you have in your dashboard. Okay. So let's say I'm going to tell you, I did this yesterday. An agent had 260 leads in her dashboard. So here's where your mindset is, okay, guys? 260 leads. So I said, okay, what's the average selling price? Everybody's different. So what I did was I did 650,000, right? That's what I did. Do it based on your area. Find out what that average selling price was. So then I said, okay, so let's figure out what the commission is for a $650,000 sale with 2.5% going to the cooperating broker, right? So where you guys are, if it's 2%, right, factor that in. So for her, it worked out to being, if I remember correctly, 16,250. So I said, that's your commission. Now I want you to times it by 260 leads. And it came to like a $4 million GCI. She's on a team. So I said, okay, let's half it. Let's half it. Whatever your split is, let's just half it. And it worked out to $2 million. And I looked at her and I said, could you use $2 million right now? And her mouth dropped. So do you understand, as the sole supporter of my house, there's no other income coming in, why I value and I cherish these people who are coming to me through Google. So took a pause with her. let it sink. And then I said, now I want you to remember, these are buyer leads. Most of these buyer leads have houses to sell. We're not even factoring in that number. Now let's add another factor. How many people do these people know? Let's add another 1,000 onto the 260. Because remember, my friends, my leads refer me. Leads that I've never done deals with have still referred me to people that they know. And we're not going to get them all, but even if we took that 2 million, and even if we took 250,000 off it, do you see the actual amount of money that's sitting there waiting for you in your dashboard? Now, I'm going to pause again because we also know that if they're on our dashboard, they're on a lot of other agents' dashboard, right? They're on a lot of other agents. So then I sat back last night. This is what I do. Okay. When I'm not thinking about my children or my grandson, I'm thinking about AgentLocator. Um, then I sat back last night and I'm like, on average, how many people have realtors that they know that they would call if they're looking for a home? So even if they had 10 other agents or 15 other agents sending them listings, right? Because we all know that they join everybody. And then maybe they've got an additional 5 in their neighborhood or somebody they know. Let's think about this. You got 260 people. Would you be okay with 260 people being maybe one of 10 or one of 15 people that they would actually think about you in the running to represent them as their realtor? Do you see how small the odds end up being for us to actually convert? Do you see what I mean? So all of these webinars that I've been doing for, I don't know, Harris, how long has it been? Maybe 4 years now. We all have our different tips and tricks. We all have the email campaigns. I love mine. It works. It will get buried with me in my coffin. I love mine that much. But it starts here. It starts with appreciating the value and understanding that we're not going to get them all, but I would rather be one of 10 or one of 15 realtors for the 4,000 leads for each of them to be in the running. Because if I hadn't invested in AgentLocator, they wouldn't know me at all.
Hmm.
I'd have a zero chance. So I'd rather have that 1 in 10 or 1 in 15 of getting $2 million or whatever, right? So think about that. Just think about it for just a minute. And when you open up your dashboard every day or your email every day, I just want you all to commit to yourselves at going, I'm going to think about these first 15 minutes of Tara preaching to me. Because there's a reason why you continue to not convert. And it's not you and what you're doing, it's your mindset and how you're thinking about this system. So let me know your thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. Did you want to read some of the comments? Because let's all do this. Let's all converse.
Yeah, I was just about to see. We do have a couple of interesting questions. There's one here from Sludgeona, which she's saying she's just joined Agent Locator. She's still setting up, and she's curious, how many clients does it take on average before you get your first conversion? It's a tough one, right? I mean, I think statistically, what is the
It's a
conversion
really tough
ratio?
one.
Like
I
2%
learned
or
very,
something?
very, very quickly. I learned very quickly that if you want to win the lottery, you got to buy a lot of tickets, right? So first and foremost, I'm a big believer if you just joined, and you can go back to the last webinar that Crystal and I did,
Hmm.
because I believe we went over it in the January webinar a little bit. I believe that you should start on the lowest package that they offer. And again, I don't get paid by AgentLocator. I'm just here because I'm very good at converting leads. So whatever that package is, it might be 300-ish.
Yeah, I think
Start
it is
low
roughly.
so that you get your rhythm, right? You want to get your rhythm. You want to create the system that works for you. Time blocking is a must for conversion, right? Figure it out. Once you feel comfortable, you've got your drip campaigns in place that you want to use, whether or not you create your own or you modify one of the ones that you have as templates. You do what you want, but get the system, feel it out, then slowly add on to your package, your budget, right?
Spot on. Yeah.
So I did find very early on, because when I first started buying Google Leads, and this was prior to Agent Locator even being in existence, um, you had it really took a while to figure out how to convert over email because I'm old school. I'm 30 years in. We talked on the phone, right? There was no email.
Yeah.
Now, once you get your bearings, then what you're going to do is you're going to build your budget, right? So the more leads that you have coming in, clearly the more chances you have. Remember, very, very important. These leads coming in are not usually going to buy the next day. It's happened to me, yes, but I mean this much, right? Whatever nurturing we're doing, and that's all we're doing, we're nurturing, right? They could be a year, they could be 2 years down the road, right? You just got to keep it up. But the more volume, the better chances. What I don't want is for you to increase too high, it become a massive expense for you, and then you have to stop it because now all your work is for nothing, right? So
Spot
baby steps. And I know that Agent Locator, I know their team can guide you through that process. I think John asked, how much do I buy?
I
I
think
don't
you'll let
give
me
my
do that.
amounts, nor have I ever, and I'm not going to. I don't buy a crazy amount. I did for a time being, and let me tell you, those leads were coming in like nobody's business. I don't believe in buying too many that you're going to set yourself up for failure because it does get overwhelming. But I'm a big believer that if you want to have a really decent budget, you're looking at 700 or higher. Okay. So, and I'm higher, but I'm not crazy high. I'm not crazy
No,
high.
I mean,
Okay.
my personal experience speaking with many agents on Agent Locator, it's not always about the amount of leads you have in your system. It's just the effort you put in. It's what you put in is what you're going to get out of this system. If you're calling leads each
Yep.
day and every day, and you're not taking it too personal if they're not picking up the first call or the second or the third, consistency is key with anything in life, honestly. The more you call these people, the higher the likelihood someone does pick up the phone and does have that conversation with you. And that could be a person that's been in your system for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. You just
Right.
don't know. You don't know what circumstance that other person is in at that time when you've called them, why they didn't pick up or why they felt the particular way when they answered the phone. So try not to
Sure.
take it too personally, guys. Just consistently call through until they give you the nod and say, you know what, don't call me anymore. Then you go, okay, no worries, I won't call you anymore. But up until that point, just keep doing it, keep grinding, keep calling, and they will eventually pick up and they will eventually have a conversation with you. And then that does escalate. You end up building yourself a little runway where at the start you maybe had one or two people you were talking to. By 6 months in, you're talking to 15 people, 20 people, 30 people. And then all of a sudden they do want to transact eventually. And that might not be a transaction today, like Tara said, but it could be a transaction in 12 months, in 18 months. But if you did the groundwork and you've done that with 15, 30, 40 people before, all of a sudden that's 40 people that are transacting in 12 months' time. So it may
Mhm.
not be super busy for you now, but in 6 months and 12 months, that does pick up slowly. But it's just about consistently putting the effort in.
Remember, everybody, it's always not about the calls. Okay. So for those that come on my webinar, we really focus on the email drip campaign. We have the call ones, the call trainers as well. There is this smooth bond, as you can see me doing between both, right? So if you're calling and they're not answering, rely on your drip, right? If you're setting your leads up correctly, I have a special way of doing it so that it corresponds with that strong email drip that I have. My leads reply to my emails. Now I'm talking to them over email, and guess what happens? Now we're talking on the phone. right? So figure out your rhythm. I have learned through 20 years of converting leads, even before Google was a thing. Okay, I've learned that you have to continually modify what you're doing, right? If calling on day one isn't working, everybody's miserable, right? Or they're not answering, find another day. But remember, all they want when they sign up is to see houses. That's what you have to remember. That what they really want is exactly what you're giving them. Your name in their inbox 3 times a day, right? Always set the schedule up for 3 times a day. Always. Because the power of your name in that inbox is just as important as the power of your voice, leaving a message if that's what you do. Okay. So I'm not saying don't call. I'm saying please rely on both. Texting right now is getting a little further than the phone calls are for some agents. Always play around with it and see. And this is what I've done my entire career of conversion. 70 to 75% of my business every year comes from Google leads, right? Why? Because I'm constantly changing. I'm going, okay, if I can't get anywhere on day 5 with these people, then I'll call them on day 15. Or I'm going to text instead. Always switch it up. Sounds like a lot of work. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But that's why we have time blocking calendars, right? So if you give yourself an hour a day to work your agent locator, you can play around with it, right? It's going to work. Now, listen, Helen, leads never pick up the phone. They don't seem to open or click the email every time. I learned a long time ago that there's certain times of the year that a lot of times the email tab has a lot of blues and not green, right? Of course, we always want to see green, right? We love green. If it's blue, there are times, and please remember that our leads do go away. They do go on holidays. They do get busy at certain times of the year. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not interested in ever buying a house. Okay, so don't get freaked out if it's blue. But if it is blue, double check your scheduler because remember that Google's always going to bounce them if they're not opening and try to reschedule them up to 3 times a day. That's a full-time job in itself for Tara, let me tell you, because I'm determined to beat Google, right? But I'll put them back on and just see. But maybe for those people, then you send a text. Hey, I want to make sure you're getting the brand new listings okay, because I'm noticing they're not getting open. Let me know, right? Remember, they could be sitting in the spam folder. Okay. So never prejudge. Always have the mindset, even if it's blue, oh, maybe they're away. Let me go in and check their schedule. Maybe I need to reach out and just make sure they're not sitting in the spam. Okay. Mindset. All right. What do we have, Harris? I love this. They're
I
talking.
know, we're getting some
Okay.
multiple questions. There's one really good one here that James just put through. It says, I've been toying with the idea of sending a personalized BombBomb video to leads. My thinking is that it might be a good idea to put a face to a name and send them a quick 30-second personalized video in hopes that it may differentiate from the other agents they've subscribed to. Would this be
Sure.
worth looking into, or is it not an efficient use of time?
Do it. Do it.
Exactly.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
You might
I'm
spend a little bit of time at the start setting it up, but once it's automated, right? Like it's a great use of time in that case.
I love this. What I love, I don't. I'm not. I'd be. I if I'd be lying, and I'm not going to about to lie to you guys. I haven't done the video part yet. I've sent videos from my YouTube and done links and stuff like that, but the bomb bomb I haven't done. I know agents that do it, and it definitely brings the reality that you are an actual real person there. I think it's a great idea. I love that BombBomb now is a lot cheaper. When it first got integrated with Agent Locator, it was like $1,500 a year. And a lot of agents just couldn't swing that cost. So here's the deal. Do it, try it, see what the opening is like. You've got nothing to lose, but you've got everything to gain from it, right? You can use BombBomb for so many other things as well, not just reaching your leads. So I think you should. If you can afford it, do it. And it's much more reasonable now. And I think Agent Locator does help with the integration, does it not, Harris?
Definitely, definitely. With
Yep,
any integration or any questions related to integrations or even BombBomb, you can reach out to our support at agentlocator.ca. Any question is a good question.
perfect.
They're willing to
Perfect.
help and they're quick as well.
Perfect. Let me give you another tip. Now, the agent who started doing this isn't with us today, and I'm sure they won't mind, hopefully. What they started doing was they started creating on their phones just a quick, hey, just to let you know, I'll just say, take a video. I'm Tara. Thanks for signing up to, I mean, my landing page is begintosearch.com. So whatever it is. And that's it, right? If you need anything, I'm here. So I think he said it was like not even 10 seconds. What they do is they then send the video to every new lead just after they register. And they're getting communication right away.
Mm.
So, food for thought, right? Again, you have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And it's just one video, right? You're just putting one video on your phone. So, think
Mm.
about that. Okay, what else do we have, Harris?
Oh, we're getting a couple more messages, a couple of thanks. Scrolling through. I guess a couple of questions related to objections from what I can see here. People are having trouble with, oh, how do I lose it? No, that's the campaign. Goodness me, how do I lose it?
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to Harris, right? Like this is how I tend to work my day.
That's
I think
okay. I could scroll.
so we've got, what is it? Have we touched on the one where it's like leads never pick up the phone, but they open it? Okay, we did do that one. Some buyer
We
leads start
did. We did.
ghosting. So we've got Harpreet over here where he's mentioned some buyer leads start ghosting after looking at some properties. How do we
Mm,
handle that?
I have that too. To be honest, I have that too. But as soon as they go in the car with me, again, I'm not getting into BRAs or anything like that. Everybody does it differently. As soon as they go into the car with me, they go on, hold on, where am I? This whiteboard. You can kind of see it a little bit in the side,
Mhm.
so that I never forget to reach out to them, right? So when you have a lead who goes shoot, could be for a number of reasons. They just weren't serious. Who knows, right? But ultimately, what I found worked really, really well for me with any of my leads who were on my radar. When I say on my radar, I mean on that whiteboard that I have right here, right? And it's a big board and it's full, full, full. And beside all the names of my upcoming listings and buyers I have in the car, I have beside them where they come from. Okay. So, what I do when I've got somebody like that, somebody on my radar, I know that I've already showed them 123 Main Street in Stouffville, and it was $950,000, right? I have my market areas set up on Realm for the areas that I know my people that are on my radar are looking. And so
Mm.
what I do is I then, because I'm always on, we used to call them the hot sheets, but we'll say I'm always on the live market areas. When I see something come in that is very similar or the style of what a person is looking, I send them an email right from Realm. I don't wait till the agent locator eventually sends it to them. I send them an email going, we need to see this property as my subject line. Then I text that person and say, just sent you a brand new listing that came on the market 30 seconds ago. Let me
Mm.
know what you think. I have had a lot more success by doing that as an added piece of value and getting them in the car a whole lot quicker. Everybody's timeline is different. So maybe try that and see if that helps. Otherwise, remember, can't get them all, right? Can't get them all. I did do an email, which maybe if I can figure out the share that I was going to show all of you, but I won't get to it now. We'll get to it a little later, which kind of was talking about two different emails about that situation. So I'm constantly adding new templates to my drip campaign and also ones that I can just send out. And I had that happen. We've all had that happen where I went, okay, maybe I'm going to do a touch where we talk about all the work that agents do behind the scenes that you don't see.
Mm.
So, Things like that can be really, really helpful to educating our leads on how much work we actually put in even before we show them a property, right? Education is everything. Hopefully, it'll stop behaviors like that. Okay, what else do we have?
Well, I've got a couple of things, but I've got a good one here for you, Tara. So, since we
Okay,
do love emails, what's your take or what's your position on the idea of sending monthly newsletters,
love
market
it.
updates?
Love it, love it, love it. I've done it a long time on my leads. Yeah, you get unsubscribes, but I see nothing wrong with it. I think for remember, the more touches we do, the more validity we're putting in that you're the realtor of choice, right? I think if you're going to do it, here's I'm guilty, where we created our newsletter every month, we send it out every month, then you get really busy and right, it
Mhm.
stops. So maybe a touch like that, if you haven't done it before, is do it quarterly. A lot of times, what I'll do is an email that's just, here's my thoughts, here's what I've seen. Touches like that, where you can talk about the market, but talk about some things that actually have happened, in deals you've been doing. Anything that you give them is of value. Just remember, if you see unsubscribes, don't freak out, right? Don't freak out, right? You can't win them all. That's okay. Because a lot of people send stuff out and they're like, well, then I get 10 unsubscribes. Yeah, but what if you have one person in there that's like, dang,
Mhm.
I'm going to use this realtor when I'm ready, right? And
Mhm.
it's that one thing that you sent out that's made all the difference to these people. I have sold houses to people years after being on my system. Years. The longest is 10 years.
My
One
gosh.
girl I sold a house to, she was on for 2 years. When I met her in the driveway, she was never on my radar. She didn't reply very often to my email drips. Like honestly, she was kind of out of the circle. So when she said to me, I want to see a house with you, I was like, dang, you weren't even on my radar, right?
Mm.
But she said to me, I knew right from the beginning because of the way you emailed me and you communicated with me that I would always use you. And my best friend has a friend that's a realtor and was pressuring me to use them. But I kept telling her, no, I'm using this one that emails me, right? And 2 years later, I sold her a house. I had no idea for 2 years. I had
Mm.
no idea. She didn't communicate with me,
Gosh.
right? So the power of what you do, if it gets rid of 10, but it resonates with one or 20, it's amazing, right? Okay.
It definitely is. And I mean, if email is not the way to go with this, for example, how Tara mentioned, if it gets a little busier and you can't do these monthly emails and you don't want to do them quarterly, you can actually go onto your like site manager in CRM and you can go into your blog posts and schedule blog posts to go out every month. So you can have these things preloaded and then it'll just automatically send out new blog posts. And at least you're still sending some information out into the world about
Hmm.
the things that you're passionate about. But I think, like, Tara mentioned, getting a message out to people as consistently as possible, I suppose, and mixing it up a little bit so they know that you're that person
Yeah.
that they need to speak to. Got a
Yeah.
couple more questions. So
Okay.
Jay said, what ratio should be Google to Facebook leads?
I don't do Facebook leads at all. I'm strictly Google buyer leads.
And I
I,
think there's no real ratio there either. It's going to
yeah,
come down to preferences for most people in this case.
and I know a lot of people get the Facebook leads, some do. If you go back to other webinars that Crystal and I have done, there's a lot of agents that haven't been that crazy about them. So ultimately, you got to do what's best for your budget. But I do think there is so much power in the Google leads. I personally do.
I mean, we have to understand that a Google lead has genuinely gone onto Google and typed in some words into Google search, like, I want to buy a house in Oakville. And then guess what? Your ad came up. So there is a bit of
Yeah,
intention there, right? It's not a
that's
big
how it
intention.
works.
It's
Yeah.
quite a lot of
Listen,
intention.
remember the power of Google. We all shop on Google, right? Have For those that have been part of my webinar, when I couldn't figure out what this thing was on my new car on the steering wheel, I didn't open
Mhm.
up my glove compartment and go in the book, right, that it gave me. I friggin' went on Google and went, what is this on the Cadillac, blah, 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 right? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're all guilty. But I think that if you understand that there's so much power in the Google. I did a deal in Brighton, and when this person paged me, she paged me, right? To call Lynn and gave the number. So usually when I get something like that, I'll go right to my Gmail and I'll be like, okay, is this phone number? Is this a lead? Right? I'm always curious. Is this a lead? Anyways, she wasn't there. But so I call her and I'm like, hey, it's Tara. She goes, oh, hi. I know you don't know me, but I came across your nice. She goes, I came across your name, and I go, oh, okay. She says, I Google searched agents in Brighton, Ontario. My unbranded landing page came up. She saw a cell number and paged me. She
Wow.
never registered as a lead. She never came in.
She went
But
straight to
that's how
it.
she found me, right? Like you can't make this stuff up. Had I not have been investing in Google Leads, that deal would never have come to me, right? Other than she might have come across my, of course, my
The
real
domain
estate
name. Yeah.
site.
Mhm.
But it's those landing pages that continue in that 24-hour cycle, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I need more questions. How are people finding the market? Don't
Does
forget everybody.
anyone does
Yeah,
anyone want to speak? I can give you a microphone and you can speak as well. If that's
let's
something
do
you're
it.
looking to, just let me know and I can not Harpreet's
Oh,
here.
we got a hand
Awesome.
up.
Oh, it was quick. He was ready. He was like, oh, boom. You're good to go, Harpreet. You can just unmute yourself whenever you're
Hi,
ready.
Harpreet.
Hi, Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance. Uh, I have been working with the Agent Locator. This is my second year and already got an offer accepted. Uh, that was a lead that I got almost 4 months ago from Agent Locator. And I'm working with almost five buyers at the moment. Only
Five,
issue
did
is,
you say?
yes, five.
Wow.
And and some of them, like two of them, they started looking at the properties, and all of a sudden, they stopped. That's why I mentioned they started ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
They're still looking at the properties. Now I have a lead, and she's registered now. I got a call from her husband that okay, I saw this property on your website. Now he also got registered himself today, but they are not answering the phone. They don't answer the text messages. So I'm not uh,
Okay.
sure what strategy should I adopt to handle these leads.
So do you have an email drip that's going out to these guys?
Unfortunately, not. But I keep sending them newsletters, all market updates, everything I do without fail.
Okay. So this is what I want you to do.
Please.
Um, okay, they're not answering. So everybody, they're not answering the phone. He's texting. I'm sure through your Twilio as well. They're not replying. Let's try to get the conversation going with some nice passive emails. Remember, hey Sue, uh, it was nice meeting you a few weeks ago when we saw the house. What are your thoughts? Do you have questions on the market? Or listen, I'm noticing some new stuff coming up. I just want you to know I'm here to help. Please text me if that's easier for you. Create some soft emails and start seeing if we can't get her to respond that way. Some people, I'm probably very similar, aren't going to answer the phone to somebody they don't know very well, right? So remember, we got to do all three when we're working our leads, right? It's not just the phone, it's not just the text, it's phone, text, and email drip. Okay. I think you're going to reach this person with some really soft touches with an email, right? Try it.
Just to chime in a little bit here, Harpreet, I just had a quick look in your CRM, and you definitely do have drip campaigns running in the background for buyers, sellers, and rental leads. So in that case, the default ones are active and working. But what I can recommend, if at any time you feel like you want to step in for a one-on-one session with me, we can maybe go over some custom drip campaigns. We can set something up, and that goes for everyone in this chat today. If at any point you feel like you want to tune in on that drip campaign, maybe create something custom, I'd be more than happy to sit through a session with you guys, show you how to do it, how to set it all up. So, but by default, you should have some campaigns running. In Harpreet's case, he definitely does.
Okay.
I do want to sort of touch in on one question that Ali mentioned,
Yeah.
put into the
Hi,
system. I didn't
Ellie.
realize I stepped over it, unfortunately. But the question is, are we experiencing that even though these are resale leads browsing MLS listings, some of them are getting into discussions around pre-con projects and some actually end up buying pre-con? How do you approach a lead if they even hint that pre-con new homes are on their radar? So it seems like how do we work around leads that are out there looking for pre-con home?
Hmm. Well, I mean, let's be real. Everybody has the ability to buy new build or buy pre-con. We all know for the most part, if they're going to do the pre-con, we have to be the agent if they are cooperating with other agents to introduce them to the sales office. Otherwise, we don't get paid. So I think if you start noticing some of your Google leads leaning more towards the pre-con, maybe you're going to want to educate them on the steps that need to happen if they want you to represent them. Maybe as well, Ali, have you thought about talking to some other agents who actually have some inventory with pre-con? Because maybe what you could do is you could, with their permission, start advertising some of their stuff to kind of have that lead understand that you're a specialist in both areas. Your drip campaign. And this is really a good question because depending on where you're buying leads, there could be a really high number of pre-cons, right? Maybe your drip campaign needs to incorporate resale and pre-con emails. So they're actually from the get-go getting to understand that you actually can assist them on all levels of real estate. But again, if they're going to buy pre-con, I would just make sure that they knew exactly that I could help them on that. And it's a strategic. You got to look at your email campaign and make some changes. That's what I think.
And you
I
could
hope that
definitely
helped,
have like
Ali.
a
You're such a good agent. Don't lose them.
And you could definitely have a complete like pre-con drip campaign that you have on hand. So when you have a conversation with someone and they mention they're into pre-con, you could have that as an educational campaign that sort of informs people about the process of purchasing a pre-con home and what's involved and the differences
Sure.
between them. So yeah, the
Yeah.
drip
Perfect.
campaigns would be perfect in that case. Let me see if I've
You're
missed
welcome.
any other
We got
questions.
a hand up still.
Oh, we got Harpreet still.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh, oh, it's back away. Oh no. If there was any other questions, Harpreet, feel free to
Yeah,
chime in
come on.
anytime.
Our last 15 minutes. Hopefully, remember you guys have some homework to do. You got to look at the number of leads that you have sitting in your dashboard. And you have to kind of figure out what that GCI looks like for you, right? That's really going to help you guys when it comes to understanding the value dollar wise of what's sitting there waiting for you, right? So I need you guys to do that. And when you're on the next webinar, which will be in March with me, maybe some of you could share what the potential GCI is. Oh, Rish, this is the first time I've been in this session. Oh, and it's gold. Ah, thank you. I did see a question about the coaching company. Many of you know I did have it open. Woo! It was I had a waiting list. You just got to divide yourself up, Harris, into four different places. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm
I
like flying around like this.
there has to more Terras. That's the last thing we all need here. Um, what I've done is I put a pause on it. I coached everybody. There was just over 180 people. I got through everybody, I took a pause. Yes, I have reopened it. So, Austin, if you're still on, the website is, and it's called this crazy thing called leadgen.com. You can go on there, fill out a form. It kind of gives you a little bit of the prices. With the coaching company, you get my email drip campaign. You get some one-on-one time with Tara. We really focus. I reopened back up. I've only got one agent in the books right now, but we're really focusing on mindset, and he is really blown away. But again, it's like anything else. It's like going to a therapist and 20 years later saying therapy didn't work. You gotta change your way of thinking. You're the ones that have to change that thinking of, oh, but this is what think I should be doing. The way that I'm going to teach you is a little different than the conventional ways. I'm not going to teach you to call them until they answer. I'm going to teach you that you got to do a little bit of everything. You have to have all the ingredients in order to convert. But I'm going to teach you that if you wake up negative and if you think the leads are no good, you can spend all the money in the world and it isn't going to help you. Right? Just like going to the therapist about trying to change an anger problem and still being angry 20 years later and blaming the therapist. Right? It starts here. And I'm the perfect example. It would be easy for me to get overwhelmed. It would, right? It's just me. But I don't. I'm like, okay, all right, guess what, kid? It's just you. So you better make shit happen. And that's where I'm always putting my head in a positive space. There is no room for negativity. If you wake up and it's a bad day, call your core person, vomit all over them, and get it out, right? We got to release it. We got to release it in order for us to be able to get back on track and do the systems that we need to do. I also have another training course. I'm not here to sell it to you. I'm just answering the questions. I wrote it. I launched it. Some of the people on here put faith in me and took it. It's called Beat the Market. I am going to be doing that. It's only 3 sessions. It turned out phenomenal. It's going to re-bring you back into the basics of real estate. Let's recreate that business. Let's recreate that time blocking calendar. And let's create the pillars of your business to launch you into action. This particular course, you have to sit down and write some journal entries, and you have to take some negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts. Let me tell you, I loved every minute of it. It was amazing. Margaret, I don't know if you want to speak up. You took it. Absolutely incredible. So I do have that. It's called Beat the Market. I don't have a website. You can text me. I'm probably going to start again doing another session of it in probably beginning of April. But yeah, I'm here to help, guys. Whatever you need, whatever you need.
It's amazing, Tara. And look, I'm just reading this beautiful comment here from James that says, this has been great, thank you. I'm trying to go from getting anxiety when I get a lead to learning to get excited about leads. That's that mind shift, right? And James, you're not alone. We all start with that. The anxiety's there, and it probably stays for a lot longer than we care to give it credit. But
Mhm.
you've got to tell yourself, right? Sit there, smile on your face, phone or email, whatever it is, if you smile and you do it, it goes through that message. I strongly believe that if you put on the right attitude when you're communicating with people, whichever mean it is, it goes through. People feel it on the other end. Because how many times have you like felt super happy about something and then you've gone and done something and it just felt right, like it went from your hand the correct way? So keep at it, keep at
Well,
it, keep at it. The anxiety does ease off eventually. You will have that 1 or 2 amazing conversations with people, and
yeah.
it just changes your perspective on everything.
It is hard because we don't know them, right? But James, remember this, okay? And I can't see you, but I'm looking at you. If I called you or this lead called you and said, "Hi, James, it's Brian. Could you send me listings in Mississauga up to 550,000 and my email is brian@brian.com. Would you be anxious or would you be like, yeah, right? Yes, yes, right? Think of it that way. They want you to send them listings, right? Step one, step one. I'd be all over it. Yeah, right? But that's exactly what these people are doing. They're coming to you, right? They're coming to you. So nothing to be anxious about, right? You just got to be there for them. That's all I'm saying. We just have to be there for them when the time is right. Remember, you now have about a 1 in 20 chance of doing a deal with these people. You never would have had that chance had you not have been investing in your business, right? You can reach out to me, Harpreet. Go on the website, lead gen, this crazy thing called leadgen.com. I think Harris put it out.
The link
Uh,
is just at the top there. You'll see it.
you can email me, Tara Baylis. You see my name at rogers.com. People call me on my cell. They find my cell. If you're on Broker Bay, my cell will be there. Or you could be on one of the numbers where everybody sells their cell phone number now. But I believe we can do this, right? You guys got to believe in yourself. Thank you for the vote of confidence, Margaret, on Beat. You guys were incredible on that program. Incredible. And just to let you know, 2 weeks ago, I started Beat 2.0, which is going to be the follow-up course to Beat. So this is why I don't have a social life. But it's all for you guys. It's all for you, right?
We
All right.
appreciate it.
Any other questions before we head out? Okay, Harpreet, sounds good.
Amazing, everyone. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Tara. This was an absolute pleasure to host it with you. You
You
guys
too.
probably won't see me that often. I think Crystal's going to be back on the next one. So, yeah, if you ever
You're
need me for
welcome.
some training, please reach out. You can email me at harris.o@agentlocator.ca and we can have a one-on-one session or whatever floats your boat. This should be posted, I think, pretty soon as well, once it's available, and you can rewatch it as many times as you need to. Thank you all again.
Bye. You guys have been great.
Thank you all. Thank
Okay.
you.